Good evening and welcome to BJC Halacha A, number 1772. Halacha A keeps the Yetzer Hara away. And yes, it's late, but we got to do our halacha. Sorry for my delay. Dedicated in loving memory of Daniela Basfi and Neshama Shem Aliyah. Very interesting halacha. The last of the chapter entitled Life-Threatening Illnesses and One Course to Sin. It's really going on that last part. One course to sin. For one who is in a situation where there are those who wish to force him to violate a prohibition of the Torah temporarily, even if it is a severe transgression, we do not violate Shabbos for him in order to save him from the sin. However, if they wish to force him to renounce his faith and remove him from the Jewish people, even if the victim is only a young boy or girl, there is an obligation upon all those who have the ability to endeavor to rescue him. This must be done even if it is necessary to violate Shabbos by transgressing biblical prohibitions, just as one is obligated to violate the Shabbos for the sake of a patient whose life is in danger. This is learned from that which is written in Shemos, second book, the children of Israel shall observe Shabbos, to make the Shabbos. With this verse, the Torah instructs, violate one Shabbos for his sake, in order to enable him to observe many Shabbos in the future. Even if there is a doubt whether or not one's efforts will be effective, nevertheless, there is an obligation to violate Shabbos and exert every possible effort, just as we violate Shabbos in a situation of a possible danger to life. Now, let's just go over this first part. So again, let's say this guy named Reuven, who they're asking to do a very terrible transgression temporarily. You cannot violate the Shabbos for him. But Shimon can't violate Shabbos to help Reuven. However, if they're trying to force Reuven to convert out of Judaism, then yes, Shimon has to do everything he can, even violate Shabbos, even biblical prohibitions in order to save Reuven. Shimon's got to do that in order to save Reuven. And even if there's a doubt, he's got to do it. However, one who sins intentionally and wishes to convert, let's say Reuven is unfortunately not such a good guy, and he just doesn't care about Judaism, and he violates all types of transgressions, and he wants to convert outside of Judaism. We do not violate Shabbos for him by violating biblical prohibition in order to save him. Since the situation here involves an individual who sinned intentionally, we do not tell another person, hey, Shimon, go ahead, sin by violating Shabbos in order that your fellow Reuven may gain and may be saved from converting. Nevertheless, with regard to violating a rabbinic prohibition in such a situation, such as to travel out of the Tchum is the 2,000 amos boundary we have in all directions outside of the city, so it gets not so relevant if you live in Houston or New York, because you really have the whole city. But let's say we're in a field over Shabbos, you have 2,000 amos, which is again 4,000 feet in every direction to walk. Beyond that, you can't walk, right? So that's the idea. So, but by walking past that limit, that's a rabbinical violation. So that you could do. Or you can even ride a horse or travel in a wagon, as well as to move money or the like. There are those authorities who permit violating Shabbos in order to save him. Now, he says here, in footnotes, the verse is understood as instructing that we should take care on this Shabbos to make the Shabbos, i.e. to ensure that other Shabbos days are also observed, even if doing this will entail violating this particular Shabbos. So again, you can violate one Shabbos for the sake of other Shabbos. Now let's say it was a young boy or child who really wants to convert outside of Judaism and he's sinning on purpose. He says, the footnote here says, a child is never considered to have intentionally sinned with regard to this law, even if he decided to sin on his own. So for a child, you can go ahead and violate Shabbos, even a biblical prohibition to save the child, even if he's this kid who seems to be doesn't like Judaism and does all sorts of crazy things. Go ahead, you can still try to save him. And then again, on the footnote of the Tchum is the area within which travel is permitted on Shabbos. Okay, Baruch Hashem was a long one. We got through it. Mazel Tov to your sponsor feature, Halacha 36, 100 for the gold. Have a great night.